thank you for your time. I really appreciate it on a Saturday morning.
You're so welcome.
Obviously we're early into 2021 already. So what are your plans for the year ahead? Or are you just kind of winging it like a lot of people are and seeing where it goes?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of that, definitely. At the same time, launching this single is nice because I'm getting, radio interviews, and Andy Wright's going to do a blog with me, and it's going to go on his website and stuff. And we are planning a new album, but very slowly, with loved ones. That's going to be the theme, theme of lockdown. So I thought I'd do that, so that's the plan. And maybe some live gigs. Sorry, yeah?
So did you say maybe some live gigs?
Well, maybe some live gigs will reappear. I don't know, because we were, billed to do Cornbury with Van Morrison and Dido headlining. And also I had a support act potentially lined up with a very famous singer. But anyway, all these things, we don't know if it's going to reappear or not, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Just on that note, you mentioned Cornbury. What are your views on Glastonbury cancelling? How do you think that kind of affects the year ahead?
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
Yeah, I think it's hard, but I think precautions, need to be taken, and those kind of places. My God, one can imagine they'd be kind of rife for whatever.
For whatever.
So I think it's prudent. Yeah.
So, I mean, you've touched on lockdown already. I mean, you released the Immunity song last year. Now, a song that you said was trying to bring positivity and a different angle to the situation of lockdown. Yeah. What have your experiences been like? Have you kind of dealt with it and coped?
Well, a mix, probably like most people's, but I did find that writing a song like the Immunity song, which was very positive, and working on battling my own negativity sometimes. I'd write a line, and sometimes Andy, who was co-writing it with me, he's doing the musical part, he was like, well, I'm not sure that's entirely positive, so I'd have to kind of change that. And so it's been a battle against for positivity, basically, I think. Yeah.
Well, I mean, how did writing work, and how's it going to work with the new record? Because obviously we're back in this again. So obviously I've spoken to a few artists who are like, it's worked quite well. Some have said it's been really difficult. Where's your kind of take on it? How have you found it?
Yeah, I think it has been flowing. I mean, you can exchange so much by computer, obviously, lyrics and music. And then when it's ready to go, we would have like a small group just outside those lockdown windows, where we did the filming for the video and the recording for the video. So I think it is possible to jump on these little windows. Yeah.
Do you think that a lot of it's helped by the fact that the music industry's changed so much, and it has pre-lockdown, it was always gearing to a massive digital shift to everything being digital, whereas maybe years ago, 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't, and it's made it easier for people like yourself to carry on working.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really grateful for that. Obviously when I go into the studio, it's exciting to see all the big machines with all the dials and everything, but at the same time, it's nice to get just a PDF,
An MP3 file, quite happy. So you've talked about the new record then. What can you tell us about that? What stage are you at with that? And is it inspired by lockdown?
Well, I've got 2 songs that I've started, so it's early days. One is with my vocal coaches, actually, who really have become loved ones. I've been working with them for 8 years, and they are kind of my mentors. Right. And we've been through a lot together, and they've helped me. So we're doing a song on transformation. So that can apply to lockdown. It can apply to many things. I think it's one's evolution through challenges, and we'd like to do it kind of in a choir type form, maybe, but quite contemporary, quite pure sound. So that's the idea. And then one with my boyfriend I've been starting, which hasn't got very far because he lives in Geneva. But and that'll be a French one because I like to mix the French and the English, and let's see where the rest goes. Yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, you've talked about challenges there. Obviously, lockdown was a massive challenge for people, and everyone obviously thought they'd come out of it, and we've now gone back into another one. What would you do differently this time? Because a lot of people, lived a certain way and then thought, oh, well, I would have done that differently. What about you? Is there anything you kind of learned from your experiences last time?
Well, to be honest, no. I mean, just ramping up the positivity
Yeah,
things that I use, whether it be singing, breathing, walking, all these things. Just ramping it up and saying, okay, it's not over, and we have to get through this.
yeah. But you've got a new single coming out in March as well. What can you tell us about that? What's inspired
Yeah.
that song? Because it's a
So
reworking, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So this was on the original album, "Surrender to the Feeling," and it's my most, poignant song. So I really, wanted it to get out there, and we were wondering about the right moment. And I was even wondering if now was the right moment, because a lot of people are obviously down in the dumps. But it is a song about while it explores, the things we do to soothe our souls,
Yeah,
basically, sort of addictive behaviors like, travel, even, shopping, all these things that,
yeah,
caused us to get into trouble again. The question is how to soothe our souls in other ways. So with
okay,
healing, therapy,
yeah,
that's the idea, yeah, of the
okay.
song.
Which leads me nicely into my next question. I'm reading back through your kind of life story. You're a trained psychologist and a therapist, I believe. Firstly, how's that? A lot of people have struggled with their mental health. How has that training and knowledge you've got helped you kind of cope with your own, keeping that kind of intact and in line?
Yeah, I mean, intact is a big word because I think we all go in and
Possibly,
out,
maybe not the right word, but it's Saturday
in and
morning,
out,
and I'm
in and out of balance,
yeah,
and
that's
I
probably a
think
better kind of
and I think, I think it does give you tools. I've done psychoanalysis for God about 25 years,
right.
literally. Plus, had my own training to become a psychologist. Plus, I do healing 3 times a week,
Yeah,
breathing exercises, yoga. So it's really I throw everything I can at it,
yeah.
and I recommend that people do.
Definitely, yeah. That's one of the things I noticed. A lot of people have taken up yoga during lockdown. So,
Right.
yeah, I guess you're an advocate for that then.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think the tensions in your body are often about tensions in your mind as well.
Yeah,
So the more you unlock it, then if you feel freer in your mind as well.
yeah. I mean, you chose to pursue a career in music, though. I mean, obviously, the psychology and the therapy is a massively rewarding career for you. That must have been quite a tough decision to make to kind of progress into
You know
music.
what? I always explain that some pretty tough things happened to me because when I moved to London from Paris, where I was living, my dad died.
Yeah,
Then I got divorced, and it was lots of things, and I was potentially hired at the Tavistock, and it was just all too much for me. I thought
right.
actually. What I really want is to feel free and to pursue my passion, and step by step, I've
Yeah,
been getting there, which is wonderful.
yeah. No, it's just your third album, isn't it, coming up? This will be your third
Yes,
album. So
yeah,
obviously, it's worked quite well for you. You must be quite pleased with the way that
yeah,
path's taken you. As
definitely.
just going back to, I mean, you've talked about your dad and everything. How difficult was that loss? I mean, obviously that was a life-changing moment for you.
It was tragic for me because we were moving to London to be with him more, and basically I have a massive faith in God, and I did
Right.
lose that faith for a while,
Okay.
because it was just so tough, and then luckily, thank God, it came back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say it's difficult, and I now understand much more when people lose a loved one,
Yeah.
especially now, is just how tough it is.
Okay. I mean, two of your other passions that we've not touched on yet are nature and charity. Are they avenues that you kind of would have gone down for a career? Is that something you considered? And what do you get
I
out of both? Because they're both obviously very rewarding.
Yeah, I mean, nature, I grew up in nature a lot. I was encouraged to go for walks in nature. So it was always something very soothing for me. I know there's a cruel aspect, but it was always really, really soothing. And no, I never thought of it as a career, but I do put it in most of my songs. And
Yeah.
I ask people to please, please, please protect nature. And one of
Absolutely.
my songs, was taken up by the World Wildlife Fund.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, but to me, it's something which should stay outside the realm of career beyond that.
Yeah.
As for
That being,
charity, yeah,
that
sorry.
kind of being said, though, to have a song being used by the World Wildlife must have been massively rewarding for you. It must have been an amazing experience and feeling.
Oh, it was massively rewarding, especially, and it was also used for, it was called their Connect to Earth campaign, so for kids, and obviously that is so important to get kids connected into nature now, especially nowadays when they're stuck on their computers most of the time and won't go for walks. I see with my own daughter, I'm dragging all the time. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, but so you asked about charity.
Yeah.
Charity, yeah, again, I didn't think to, I'm learning it kind of on the hoof, really. I do it very, very instinctively. I
Right.
kind of, I don't have a professional person helping me to look at the balance sheets and everything. It's definitely a very instinctive thing that I work with. I look at how a company, how charities run. I meet the people, and but it's this need to give back, really. But again, I didn't want it to be a career thing.
Okay. Is there a kind of, like you said, you're very instinctive with the charities you work with. Is there a kind of criteria? Is there a certain kind of field of charities that you look at, or is it just a feeling that the cause I'm passionate about?
Well, a lot of them are environmental, obviously, that I've been wanting to help. And while I absolutely adore the World Wildlife Fund, it's obviously a very big one, and it's often easier to see. It's more transparent when you deal with smaller ones, and they can really show you the impact of what your money has done, which is really nice. But like I say, it is mainly an instinctive thing. Like, do I find the people engaging, etc.? Do I find them passionate? That kind of thing.
Okay. I mean, one thing you've touched on there, interestingly, is the environment. One thing that people have said is through lockdown is having people out off the streets and having cars and traffic and transport just off the roads. It's done wonders for the environment. What's life like in London? Have you noticed any changes? Because when I lived there, it was just smoky and busy. And
yeah, I mean, definitely at the beginning there was these unbelievably blue skies, and that was amazing, and it made me so happy, because I just do think people travel too much, and I have traveled too much in the past as well, but I just think, God, if we could get more pollution out of the skies, that'd be great. And it is really quiet, around me as well, in terms of cars, which is nice.
Lovely. Yeah, it's the same here. Okay, so just going back to your music then, and you've touched on working with Andy Wright, and you've also toured with everyone from artists like Wet Wet Wet, and like you said, you had Cornbury coming up with the likes of Van Morrison and Dido. A massive wealth of experience and influential acts there. I mean, and you've talked about your bucket list as well. Who's on your bucket list of artists to work with or play with or collaborate with? Do you have a list?
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, I would say it changes all the time. Chris Martin is somebody I've always admired. I wouldn't mind working with him. I love Dido. Went to see her in concert a few times, quite recently actually, and she was brilliant. Phil Collins would be a dream of mine, because he's just so amazing. If you could stay in good health, that would be good. I think, and then recently, quite madly, I've been watching a documentary on the Bee Gees, and I was thinking, it would be good to, they were just so amazing, and that sound is so, that harmony is just,
they were
voice, just amazing.
Did you watch the concert over Christmas?
No, I didn't. When was that?
They had they've reshowed one of their older concerts. It was like 2 hours of the Bee Gees.
Oh, really?
I think it was on Sky Arts. I think, I can't remember what it was called, but it was one of their older. Oh, it was quite recent, but it was literally hit after hit after hit.
Oh, really? Amazing. Well, I'll look for that then. That's fantastic.
It's definitely worth watching if you're a Bee Gees fan.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've pretty much covered everything. I just wanted to. We've talked about last year and how that was. What on a personal level? Just to finish? What are your hopes for the year ahead?
When you say on a personal level?
Yeah, just in terms of what you want to achieve or what you're hoping, especially for the environment, because obviously that's quite an important part of your life. What are you hoping for the year ahead? Do you think we'll come out of this better people?
Sorry?
Do you think we'll come out of this as better people from these experiences?
God, I tell you, yeah, I'm hoping and praying for that we learn some lessons. I really, really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be just so important. You know, really talked about the aviation industry and all of that.
Yeah.
But you know, because they do threaten further pandemics, so whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, and I think, however, this leads us to adapt. You know, whether it be, you know, some of the remote performances we've seen and things like that. You know, these are not a bad thing. But obviously, you want as many people as you know possible to continue thriving and working in a positive way while not threatening the environment. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. And just to finish then, your year ahead, you've got the album, like you said, festivals, hopefully. Is there a plan B in terms of maybe virtual shows or anything like that? Is that something you've kind of discussed or considered?
There would definitely be a plan B and plan C and whatever, because I just love it. You know, so yeah, there definitely would be for sure.
Well, given the album's due out, it was going to be an exciting time. So you've got the new single coming out. So good luck with everything.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
and thank you again for talking to us. It's been great talking to you on a Saturday morning.
Thank you. For me
Really
too.
appreciate your time. Absolutely, really appreciate your time.
Oh,
And
thank
I'll
you so much.
let you get back to whatever you're doing for the rest of your Saturday.
Okay, thank you so much, and to
No
you
worries.
too.